Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to our CA Final Indirect Taxes Power Batch. Yesterday we had started with section 7 scope of supply. I hope you have revised whatever we've completed. We'll quickly just take 5 minutes to wind up everything that we had completed yesterday and then we shall proceed further. So we started with S for 7, S for supply, section 7 scope of supply. We started with S for 7, S for supply, section 7 scope of supply. 7.1 supply includes. 7.2 supply excludes. 7.1 says includes, 2 says excludes. 3 simply says government has power. Government has power to notify certain category of transactions as goods not service or service not goods. And then section 7.1a we saw schedule 2 which simply told us what is goods and what is services. Now section 7.1 supply includes. We had seen two parts. Supply includes with consideration, without consideration. Only and only 4 paras under schedule 1. Only 4 paras under schedule 1 can be considered as supply without consideration. Otherwise, the golden rule always stands which says no consideration, no supply. So, schedule 1 para 1. Schedule 1 para 1 simply said permanent transfer of business asset on which ITC has been availed. Second, transfer between related person, distinct person which has to be in course furtherance of business. We had seen that Nick and Priyanka example where the transfer was between related person but it was not business purpose, then also we did not consider it as supply. If it is without consideration, it has to be between related person which is sofa copes or distinct person which is same PAN separate registration, plus it has to be in course furtherance of business. Then point number 3 was supply between principal agent, but the supply of goods only, not services. If principal supplying goods to agent, agent supplying goods to principal, in that case also without consideration, it is treated as supply. And then last point was import of services. Again not goods because import of goods is dealt with Customs Act. So import of services without consideration has to be from related person or own establishment, plus it has to be in course furtherance of business. Then according to schedule 1, even without consideration, we can treat it as supply. Coming to with consideration part, section 7.1a. 7.1a said that all forms of supply, all forms of supply, supply of what? All forms of supply of goods, services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, disposal, everything made or agreed to be made by a person in course furtherance of business is known as supply. Then section 7.1b we saw again import of services. Import of services, not goods. If import is done for consideration, then be it business purpose, be it personal purpose, it will always be treated as supply. And then section 7.1AA simply said that any person other than individual means firm, AOP, BOI, club, association, etc. doing any activity or transaction with their own members, own constituents for cash, deferred payment or some kind of consideration, that will also be treated as supply. Why? Because this person is different from its own member. They are two separate entities and therefore transaction between them will also be treated as supply. This was all about section 7.1. Then section 7.2 which talks about supply excludes. Everyone in the comment section quickly tell me section 7.2a schedule 3 negative list. Just how fast the night changes. Quickly one word give me. Give me the full details of section 7.2a schedule 3 negative list under GST. FB changes. F for services of funeral, mortuary, burial, crematorium including transportation of deceased. B for bond to bond transfer. So when the goods are lying in the customs bonded warehouse and you have not yet cleared the goods, and at that point of time if you are selling the goods, it is not considered as supply under GST. C for services of court or tribunal. Services of court or tribunal, and this also includes Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. H for high C sale. high sea sale when the goods have left the port of origin, the port of exportation, the goods are still in high sea or the goods have not yet been cleared for home consumption in India by filing bill of entry. In that case, we say such high sea sale is also not a supply under GST. A for all actionable claims. A for all actionable claims other than specified actionable claims. A for all actionable claims other than specified actionable claim. What were specified actionable claims? Lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, horse racing and casino. So only these things are considered as supply. Other than this, all actionable claims are not considered as supply. N says one non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory without goods entering into India. G says government, which means if you are a member of parliament, state legislature, panchayat, local body, constitution post holder at a position on some government body and you are receiving some kind of remuneration, in that case it will not be considered as supply. E for employer-employee relationship. E for employer-employee relationship, whatever is done in the ambit of employment contract. Now that would include everything that forms a part of cost to company, which means it includes salary, perquisites, monetary benefit, facilities, bonus, everything that is a part of your employment contract. And S for sale of land and building. S for sale of land and building subject to schedule 2. Why subject to schedule 2? Because schedule 2 says if you receive any consideration before, consideration before CC or FO, completion certificate, first occupation, whichever is earlier, then it would be treated as a supply of construction service. After CC, FO, whichever is earlier, it would be treated as supply of land and building, and that would be outside the purview of GST. Then we had seen section 7(2)(b). Section 7(2)(b) notified two more activities undertaken by government which would neither be treated as supply of goods nor supply of services. What were those two activities? Article 243G, Article 243W, activities done by government, and the grant of state liquor license by the state government. These two activities are also not supply of goods nor supply of services. Very good everyone, and I want all of you to be active, not just 3 or 4 students replying to the questions that I am asking. Be active, keep your senses involved. I will not repeat this thing again, it is for your betterment only. Done. So whatever we had completed yesterday, we took 7.5 minutes to revise everything. Are you all confident recalling things, whatever we had studied with me? Quickly give me a thumbs up and then we shall proceed further. Yes, ma'am, with you. So now let's quickly wind up all these clarifications and circulars in relation to supply under GST. First is donation. If any charitable institution, if any charitable institution is receiving any kind of donation from some individual donor without quid pro quo, what do we understand by the term quid pro quo? Quid pro quo means something in return. Quid pro quo means something in return. So here, whenever we are giving donation as individuals to some charitable institution, now remember this, there's this condition of the donation being made to charitable organization only. What is a charitable organization? You've studied Income Tax Act, right? So we know that to become a charitable organization, you have to get yourself registered under section 12AA, 12AB, 1023. There were some other sections where you have to take registration and then you would be recognized as a charitable institution. So whatever donation is given has to be given to the charitable organization only. Only then we are talking about it not being taxable under GST, which means if you give me money, I am not a registered charitable organization. If you give me money to undertake some kind of transaction or you give me donation for some purpose, that would not be exempt because I am not a charitable organization. So the donation has to be made to charitable organization by an individual. Whatever payment you are giving, that essentially has to be of the character of gift or donation. Means whatever payment or in any otherwise terms, whatever you are giving, it should actually ideally reflect the characteristic of being a gift or a donation. And last, most important, the purpose has to be philanthropic. The purpose has to be philanthropic means nothing is done to be nothing has to be done by the donee in return. We are not expecting quid pro quo. Quid pro quo means something in return. We are not expecting any quid pro quo means it is purely for the philanthropic purpose in the nature of donation. I am not trying to gain any commercial gain out of it. Understand? Let's say this is a temple, a registered charitable institution. I gave 10 lakh rupees to the temple as donation, but in return I am wanting them to put big banners here of CA final, IDT, Shuffle batch, Power batch. Now in this case, understand this 10 lakh rupees essentially is not donation. I am trying to get some kind of advertisement services because people would come to temple, notice my banner, and that would ultimately bring me business. So then that would be considered as advertisement service and it would be taxable under GST. Only when these three cumulative conditions are satisfied, then we say that no GST will be levied on such kind of donation. First, the donation has to be given to charitable organization. Second, whatever payment you are giving, it should actually be in the nature of gift or donation only. And third, the purpose has to be philanthropic. The purpose has to be philanthropic. Yes, the donation has to be from individual only. Because understand, if a firm is giving donation and they are putting that company name, firm name, that would equate to being advertisement services only. So the donation has to be given by individual to charitable organization only, and the purpose has to be purely philanthropic and not advertisement, no commercial gain. Now one thing that they've clarified is, see, whenever you give donation, it is a very much common practice that the charitable institution would put your nameplate at least or your photo or something to show gratitude towards you, that Mr. So and so has donated this amount of money for this purpose in our trust. So merely displaying your nameplate just to tell you thank you, just to show gratitude to you, that is not a consideration. You cannot say that I am being advertised because my name is written. No, that is a very much common practice. But let's say not your name, you put your firm name, you put your company name, then it would equate to being advertisement services, commercial gain, and that would be taxable under GST. Only and only if you are giving donation and they are just merely displaying your nameplate to show gratitude, then also it is okay. We consider it as a donation without quid pro quo and no GST will be levied on the same. Right. Now this, again very simple, artworks sent by artists to galleries for exhibition. Let's say there is Mr. Majnu. Now if you've seen Welcome movie, I don't know if you've seen or not. For students who have seen, let's say this is Mr. Majnu who makes paintings. Now he has made some paintings and this is an art gallery. This is an art gallery and Mr. Majnu is sending his paintings just so that he can exhibit his painting in the gallery. Exhibit his paintings in the gallery in expectation of some Malika Sherawat coming and choosing his painting. Now see, today when Mr. Majnu is sending this painting to the art gallery, it is not with consideration. I am just sending this painting just so that it can be displayed there in expectation of some buyer coming to the gallery, visiting the gallery and choosing my painting. Tell me, with the knowledge that you have about section 7, should this sending of painting by an artist to art gallery be considered as supply? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Artist sending their artwork to art gallery without any consideration, just for the purpose of exhibition. Should this be considered as supply? Say yes or no, using the knowledge of whatever you have about section 7. Yes, very good. No, this will not be a supply. Why? Because this is not falling under any para of schedule 1. No. And this is not with consideration also. So the golden rule would apply. No consideration, no supply. That is what government has also clarified here, that any artwork sent by artists to galleries for exhibition, it is not a supply, because no consideration flows from gallery to artist. The actual supply takes place when buyer selects the artwork at exhibition. Now some Malika Sherawat would actually come, choose that painting made by Mr. Majnu and actual sales is made, at that point of time we will say supply has happened, but merely sending the artwork to the gallery for exhibition is not a supply. Yes, very good. Next, again, this is something that I have already explained you with the definition of business, that GST is essentially a tax on commercial transactions, which means, let's say I am selling my personal car after use, my old jewelry after use, it is all not a supply. Chalo, let me ask you a question. I think we have cleared this also in the last session, that let's say Salman Khan makes some paintings and sells those paintings. Salman Khan is making paintings and selling those paintings and telling people that whatever money he will get by selling the paintings, that money will be donated to Being Human. Let's assume Being Human is a charitable trust. So Mr. Salman Khan is saying, I am making paintings, I will sell these paintings, whatever money I receive from this selling of painting, I will donate it to Being Human. Being Human is a charitable organization. Now tell me this selling of painting by Salman Khan, will this be considered as business or not? This selling of painting by Mr. Salman Khan, will this be considered as business or not? C. Yes. Very good. Yes, ma'am, this will be considered as business. Chalo, let's take another example. Today I am selling you lectures. You purchased Power Batch from me. Now, whatever remuneration I have received from you by selling Power Batch, I can do anything with that money, whatever I want. I can donate that money, I can keep that money in locker, I can keep that money in bank, I can spend that money on my family, I can simply burn that money. I can do whatever I want with that money. Will that impact the transaction between us? Will my selling of lectures not be considered as business? Absolutely no correlation. So in exam, they can simply confuse you by telling that whatever consideration we have received, we will donate. This is a separate transaction. This donation might not be a supply, but here simply selling of painting, earning money. It is a pure business, a business of vocation where I am a painter, I am making paintings and I am selling it. So simply that example only I have given here, that the donation will have no impact on this transaction of business. It is simply that your intent is to sell something, your intent is to trade, manufacture, profession, vocation, do some kind of commerce. It is all considered as business only. You might actually be making profits out of it, not be making profit out of it. You are not getting any monetary benefit. That is a separate thing. Intent is to do business. It will be considered as business. This also we have covered along with the employer-employee part in Schedule 3. That services by employee to employer in course or relation to employment is outside the scope of GST. Now, this would include everything that forms part of your cost to company, not just your salary, facility, perquisites, any kind of monetary benefits, bonuses, whatever forms part of your employment contract, whatever forms part of your cost to company, it will all be falling under negative list only and not leviable to GST. Right. Now, this is slightly important. Principal and agent relationship. So, we saw under para 3 of Schedule 1 that whenever a principal sends some goods to agent or agent sends some goods to principal, even without consideration, we will be treating it as deemed supply under Schedule 1. The question here is, who will be considered as principal or agent for the purpose of GST Schedule 1? Okay. So the simple trick here is, the one question that you always have to ask yourself is, invoice is in the name of. Invoice is in the name of. What question you are going to ask whenever you see a principal agent relationship? What question you are going to ask? Invoice is in the name of. If the answer comes principal, if the answer comes that invoice is in the name of principal, in that case we will say there is no principal agent relationship. Means this will not fall under Schedule 1 and you will be requiring consideration to treat the transaction as supply. Ma'am, can you give an example? Yes. let's say we have Rohit, Seema and Manish. We have Rohit, Seema and Manish. So Rohit says that Seema is his agent. Rohit says that I am principal and I supply goods through Seema. So Seema is my agent. Now, according to a normal understanding that we have, maybe of Sales of Goods Act or under a common parlance, if there's some person engaged who sells goods on my behalf, I would be calling him or her as agent. So yes, if Seema sells goods on behalf of Rohit, Seema is his agent. But according to GST purposes, will Seema be agent? Let's find out. So Rohit sends some goods to Seema. Now, since there is principal-agent relationship, at this point of time, Rohit is not charging any consideration, sending goods ME. Now, when Seema sells these goods to Manish, here you have to see that whenever invoice is made, if invoice is in the name of principal, Rohit, means Seema is just acting as intermediary. Actually, the sales is made by Rohit to Manish only because invoice is in the name of Rohit only. In that case, we will say Seema is not the agent of Rohit if the invoice, whenever you are dealing with third party, in that case, if the if the invoice is in the name of original principal only, then what kind of agent you are? You are just facilitating delivery between them. In that case, there is no principal agent relationship. But if invoice is in the name of agent, which means Rohit sent goods to Seema without consideration. Seema sold those goods further to Manish and the invoice was in the name of Seema. In that case, we will say that this sending of goods by Rohit to Seema without consideration will also be treated as supply, because when dealing with third party, my agent has issued invoice in his own name. So yes, when agent issues invoice in own name, at that point of time we will say agent is agent under GST, and now this principal agent relationship will fall under Schedule 1 Para 3, and such supply of goods between principal agent without consideration will be treated as deemed supply. So the only question that you have to ask is, invoice is in the name of. If invoice is in the name of principal, no agent principal relationship, then normal consideration provisions would apply. But if invoice is in the name of agent, in that case we say that agent is covered under Schedule 1, and this supply of goods without consideration will also be treated as supply. Simple example that I just now gave you. Rachit, let's say, supplies goods to agent Dimple. Whenever Dimple is selling the goods to third person, she is issuing invoice in her own name. In that case, we will say that yes, supply between Rachit and Dimple will fall under Schedule 1 Para 3, deemed supply without consideration. Similarly, it is not just you can have always selling agent. You can also have procurement agent. So let's say I have appointed some agent. Who is purchasing goods on my behalf, identifying suppliers who can sell goods at a cheaper rate and then purchasing goods on my behalf. At this point of time when he is purchasing, if he is telling the third person to make invoice in his own name, the invoice is in the name of agent. Now after receiving these goods from third person, agent is sending to principal without consideration. Even then it will be treated as deemed supply, because in the transaction between third party and agent, the invoice is in the name of agent. In that case, we will say that yes, agent is agent according to GST. Chalo. Now without looking at answer, quickly tell me, will there be a principal agent relationship or not? Mr. Kirit appoints Abhishek to procure certain goods. So Kirit is principal here and Abhishek is agent. Means according to normal terms agent. You have to tell me whether according to GST he will be agent or not. So Kirit appoints Abhishek to procure certain goods from market. Now Abhishek has identified some suppliers, let's say ABC. Now and Abhishek has purchased goods from them. But he has told them to issue the invoice directly to Mr. Kirit. So Abhishek has purchased goods, sent them to Kirit, but he has told ABC Limited to issue invoice in the name of principal, in the name of Mr. Kirit only. Is there a principal agent relationship? Tell me, is Mr. Abhi agent of Mr. Kirit according to GST? Yes or no? Not an agent. Why? Because invoice is in the name of principal and invoice is not in the own name of agent. So in this case, Abhishek is not an agent as per Schedule 1. Next question, let's say Malamal Bank appoints Akshay to auction certain goods. Now we know, normally under normal terms an auctioneer is our agent. But in this particular case, will Mr. Akshay be our agent according to GST? Let's see. So we have Malamal Bank who have appointed Akshay as auctioneer to sell certain goods. Akshay has identified potential buyer. So let's say this is the person who has given the highest bid and Akshay has sold the goods to this person by issuing invoice directly by the bank. So Akshay just acted as auctioneer, and when the goods were sold to the ultimate bidder, bank issued invoice. Bank directly issued invoice to this particular person. Tell me, is there a principal agent relationship? Will this supply between bank and Akshay fall under schedule 1? Yes or no? Again, the answer is no. Why? Because invoice is directly issued by principal to the ultimate customer and invoice is not issued in the own name of agent, and therefore Akshay is not bank's agent according to schedule 1 para 3. Is this point very much clear to all of us? The principal agent relationship, there is this simple underlying fundamental, only one question that you have to ask, invoice is in the name of, and you will get your answer whether there is principal agent relationship or not. Right. Now coming to del credere agent. Okay. First of all, what do we understand by the term del credere agent? You would have studied this in CPT or foundation consignment. There's a chapter consignment in CPT foundation accounts. There you would have heard about this word del credere agent. Chalo. So let's see. Let's say Riddhi. I am staying in Gujarat, Ahmedabad. Right? So I stay in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Now today I want to sell goods. I want to sell goods in 3 cities. I want to sell goods in Surat. Surat is also in Gujarat. Yes. I want to sell goods in Mumbai. Mumbai is in Maharashtra. And I also want to sell goods in Chennai, which is Tamil Nadu. Now, about Gujarat, I was very much confident because I've been staying here. I know the people in Gujarat and I was confident that okay, if I sell goods in Surat, I will be able to recover my money and everything will be okay. I can myself do it. But for Mumbai and Chennai, I was concerned because 1, I don't know the language there. B, I don't know the nature of people there. Will I be able to recover my money or not? In that case, I met Anna. Anna said, Madam, why you taking tension? Idhar ka periyatale. If people don't give money, I will give money out of my own pocket. I am very much sure you appoint me as your agent, sell your goods on my behalf, give me commission. Now, in case if any customer is doing bad debt, I will make sure that you get your payment. Even if I have to give that payment out of my own pocket, I will give you. I was like, wow, very good. So here I am saying, I appointed Anna and Anna gave me this guarantee. Anna gave me this guarantee that even if the customer is not paying money, I will pay you money. Okay. Then I went to Mumbai. Again, Mumbai I was concerned, I don't know Marathi, I don't know how I will recover money. I met Bhai. In Mumbai and Bhai said, what madam? No problem. No problem. You appoint me your agent. If customer not giving money, I give you money. I said, okay. So I appointed Bhai. As my agent and both Anna and Bhai guaranteed me that if the ultimate customer is not making payment, they will make me payment out of their own pocket. They here are known as del credere agent. Such kind of relationship is known as del credere agent, where the selling agent guarantees you the payment even if the ultimate customer is defaulting on the payment. What is the problem here, ma'am? Okay. The problem here is, let's say Riddhi supplied some goods to Anna to sell them further. Anna sold these goods, let's say to Pallavi. So Anna sold these goods to Pallavi. Now Anna had a slight crush on Pallavi. So Anna was not able to ask money from Pallavi. The goods were worth 10,000, let's say. Now on my due date, I called Anna. I said, Anna, what are you doing? You said that there is this payment guarantee and I have not yet received any money from Pallavi. Anna said, okay, no problem. I will pay the money out of my own pocket because I have given you guarantee. So Anna paid this 10,000 to me. out of his own pocket only. Anna paid 10,000 to me out of his own pocket while selling these goods to Pallavi. While selling these goods to Pallavi, Anna had issued invoice in own name only. Anna had issued invoice in own name while selling these goods to Pallavi. Now, after 6 months, Anna found out Pallavi got engaged. After 6 months, Anna found out Pallavi got engaged. Anna was simply heartbroken. What happened? I paid 10,000 out of my own pocket just because I had a crush on her. And what she did, she got engaged to someone else. Anna called up Pallavi. Hey Pallavi, I paid 10,000 on behalf of you 6 months back. Now you have to give me interest. You have to give me 10,000 plus you also have to give me interest for 6 months because I paid money on your behalf. The question here is, what should be the treatment of this interest? What should be the treatment of this interest is the issue here, because understand, normally if you give a loan to someone, loan, deposit or advance, and you earn interest, that interest is exempt under GST, right? If someone is lending you money or you are depositing money in bank or whatever mere transaction of lending or borrowing, interest involved in such transactions is exempt under GST. But at the same time, if I am making a supply, and interest is in relation to supply, I have made some supply and just because I received late payment, therefore I received some kind of interest penalty, late fees, that interest makes part of value of supply. So the question here is, how to treat this interest? Should I be treating this interest to be a part of value and make it taxable under GST, or should I be treating as if Anna gave loan to Pallavi and in that case interest would become exempt? That is my question here. This is case number 1. Let's say case number 2 happened same to same with Bhai. I sold goods to Bhai, Bhai sold goods to Cat, let's say, and then he had paid the money out of his own pocket, but here the invoice was issued in the name of Riddhi. Invoice was issued in the name of Riddhi. You understood the difference. In both the situations, Anna and Bhai are del credere agents normally according to normal understanding. But in case number 1, invoice is issued in the name of agent. Case number 2, invoice is issued in the name of principal and then some interest is received by the del credere agent because he had made payment on behalf of customer. What should be the treatment of interest is my question here. Chalo. Anyone? What should be the treatment of this interest here? See, now for that you have to first of all understand what is the relationship. See here when Riddhi is supplying goods via Anna, the invoice is issued in the name of Anna, which means Anna is an agent according to GST, yes. But now here when I am selling these goods via Bhai to Cat, in that case, invoice is issued in the name of principal only. Means first of all, Bhai is not my agent only because he is not issuing invoice in his own name. Now in such case, first of all you have to check whether the del credere agent is actually agent according to the invoice rule. If the answer comes yes, that invoice was issued in own name, like in case of Anna, then in that case, whatever interest is received by Anna will also form part of value of supply and it will be taxable at the same rate of tax that applies to the original supply. So here interest on loan will form part of value of original supply and will be considered and will not be considered as a separate supply. Means it is not like interest is a separate supply which is received by giving loan. No, interest will form part of original value of supply and will be taxable at the same rate of tax. But in case number 2, where invoice was issued in the name of principal only, agent is not agent only, which means the original supply was directly by principal to the ultimate customer and this receiving of interest is a separate supply given by agent to the ultimate customer, and therefore merely earning of interest by giving loan is exempt under GST. So here we will say that it is not a part of the original supply. Why? Because for original supply, invoice in the name of Riddhi, but interest received by Bhai, invoice will be in the name of Bhai, therefore you cannot merge both the supplies. Whereas here, invoice also in the name of Anna, interest also received by Anna. So I can merge them and make them taxable. So when original invoice was in the name of principal, whatever loan given by agent will be treated as an independent transaction and the interest earned will be exempt under GST. Say yes or no, everyone. Is the agent principle point extremely clear to you all, along with the del credere agent clarification? Then we shall move forward. Chalo. You are enjoying the classes or not? You are understanding, you are remembering. समझ आ रहा है, मजा आ रहा है, याद हो रहा है क्या? Quickly tell me. Yes, ma'am. Dil dil, agag, bomb bomb, going on. Yes, chalo. Moving on to next point, which says sale promotion. Now we know generally no consideration, no supply. General rule says no consideration, no supply. So if you are giving free gift to someone, free sample to someone, there is no consideration, no supply. But let's say on these free gift, there was ITC availed by the person giving these gifts. Then permanent transfer business is at ITC availed, except for schedule 1. If it falls under schedule 1, it would be a supply without consideration also. If not falling under schedule 1, then generally giving free gift, free sample to someone, no consideration, no supply. Then this point simply says, okay, let's say you go to a mall to shop jeans. Now normally that jeans is worth 2000 rupees. There was this offer going on, buy one get one jeans. So you purchased one pair of jeans for 2000 and you got another pair of jeans free. Now when you come home and your mom asks you, what is the price of these jeans? What you will say? Option A, you will say you got one jeans for 2000 and second jeans for free. Option B, you will say you got two jeans for 2000, which basically means every jeans is for 1000 or whatever it is, but I got two jeans for 2000. What you are going to tell your mom? That see, I got this jeans for free, I got this jeans for free, but then I got this jeans for 2000. Is this what you are going to tell your mom? Or you will simply say, I got two jeans for 2000. Tell me. Of course, you know there is nothing like free. They wanted to sell you two jeans for 2000. Therefore, they had kept this offer. So, I have not got anything for free. Means you cannot say that one jeans is a supply because consideration is charged. Second jeans is not a supply because it is for free. There is no consideration. No. This is not how we deal with it. We simply say that entire thing is a supply, two jeans for 2000. Entire thing is a supply, two jeans for 2000. So you cannot say that jeans 1 is supply and jeans 2 is not supply because it is without consideration. No. That is not how we look at these buy more, save more offers. We simply say that this is not without consideration. It is not like they are giving you one jeans for free. They are simply giving you two jeans for a single price. Therefore, we treat them as composite or mixed supply. That we are going to see further. But we will simply say that there are two or more goods supplied at a single price. Nothing is free in such kind of buy more, save more offers. Then tenancy rights, we will see one particular question with respect to this and it will be more clear. Simply for now, what you have to remember is, whenever for a property you are giving tenancy rights to someone and receiving tenancy premium against it, it is considered as supply of service. We will go into details. There is one particular question with respect to this. When we complete the chapter, I'll take you there. So tenancy rights, simply you just have to remember or understand this, that giving of tenancy rights and receiving tenancy premium against it, it is taxable, it is considered as supply of service. After question, this thing will be extremely clear to you. Chalo. Distinct person we have already covered yesterday, not taking again. You simply have to see same PAN, separate registration. Might be in same state, might be in different state. All of these examples we have seen yesterday only. Simply what you have to remember is distinct person means same PAN, separate registration. For an SEZ unit, we will say that always it is a distinct person. Let's say I have two units in Gujarat. One in domestic tariff area and one in SEZ unit. Both of them are in Gujarat only. My registration only. Now, there is this condition that we are going to study in registration chapter, that always for an SEZ unit, it is mandatory to take a separate registration. Even if my another unit is in same state, but if I am setting up any unit in SEZ unit, I mandatorily have to take separate registration, and therefore they will always become distinct person, because even if they are in same state, they will be separately registered and same PAN to obviously is there. So therefore we are saying that an SEZ unit will always be a distinct person even if it is in same state, because in registration chapter we will see that even if you are in same state as an SEZ unit, you will have to take separate registration. Right. This point I will take with the chapter of value of supply. When we study value of supply, I will cover this point up. For now, just giving you a very simple overview: original equipment manufacturer and component manufacturer. Okay. So let's say we have Tata. Tata makes car. Car is the original equipment. Now, Tata is not making all the components of car in-house only. So let's say to manufacture seat. To manufacture seats, Tata has outsourced the work to Mr. A. So Mr. A manufactures seat for Tata. Tata gets those seats, fits them in the car and sells the car. So car here is the original equipment. Car here is the original equipment and seat here is the component. Therefore, the person manufacturing the seat is known as component manufacturer, and the person manufacturing the original car is known as original equipment manufacturer. Now in this case, let's say after giving this contract to the component manufacturer, Tata thought that, okay, what if they made big seats or small seats and we are unable to fit it into car? So we were feeling dicey. Therefore, what Tata did was Tata sent them some kind of molds or dies free of cost. Tata said, you keep this mold. This is the size of seat that we want. So you make the seat according to this mold only. So this sending of mold free of cost, will this be considered as supply is the question here. So we will say no. Is this falling under schedule 1 any para? The answer is no. Then generally what we understand is there is no consideration, therefore no supply. Also this OEM and CM are not even related person, distinct person, not falling under any part. See, understand, if it falls under schedule 1, that is a separate thing, like a permanent transfer businesses at ITC avail, that is a separate thing. But normally what we understand is no consideration, no supply. So this sending of molds dies free of cost to component manufacturer by original equipment manufacturer, will this be considered as supply? The answer is no, because not falling under schedule 1 and also no consideration is involved. Right. Next part with respect to taxability of cost petroleum. Now for exam point of view, what is important? I can wind this up in just 10 seconds. Cost petroleum not taxable, government share of profit petroleum also exempt. Cost petroleum, if they tell you, not taxable under GST. Profit petroleum government share also exempt under GST. Ultimately, that is what end of the day you have to remember. Like tomorrow is your exam and today you are revising. Tomorrow is your exam and today you are revising. You are not going to read everything. Simply you will say cost petroleum not taxable, government share of profit petroleum also exempt, and move forward. For now, understanding purpose, let's see. What is a production sharing contract? What do we understand by the term production sharing contract? Let's say there is a miner. Ayo, miner? No. We are talking about miner. A person exploring or mining petroleum, natural gas, crude oil, etc. So we have this person, oil exploration and production contractor, a miner. Now, you cannot simply choose a place of your choice and start mining. No, you have to get a license from government or that place on lease from government so that you can start your exploration or mining from there. Government obviously will not give you this license or this lease free of cost. So government would charge some amount from you. So government gave you license means the relationship of you and government is of licensor licensee or lessor lessee depending upon whatever is your contract. Okay, so the relationship between you and government here is of licensor licensee or lessor lessee because you've paid some amount just to get license or lease so that you can start with your exploration and mining. Now in this case, whatever petroleum you are recovering, just to recover the cost that you have incurred to do this mining is known as cost petroleum. Once again, the value of petroleum which contractor is entitled to take in a year for recovery of contract cost is known as cost petroleum. Now this cost petroleum is not considered as consideration under GST. This is just your mere recovery of cost. It is not a supply only, and this cost petroleum is not taxable under GST. Now, whatever is your total petroleum mined, out of it you reduce your cost petroleum. Then what you are left with is known as profit petroleum. Now what government does is, government also takes a share out of this profit petroleum. So once you recover your contract cost, then whatever is the leftover petroleum crude or whatever you have mined, government will also take share out of this profit petroleum. Here particularly they are saying that this government's share of profit petroleum is exempt under GST. Ma'am, what about the other share? So let's say out of this total profit petroleum, government took this share. Then what about the remaining part? Remaining part you will sell normally. If it falls under the HMNAP category, not taxable under GST. If not HMNAP category, then normal supply transaction, normal supply provisions are going to apply. We are particularly talking about cost petroleum and government's share of profit petroleum. So cost petroleum also not taxable under GST. Sorry. And government's share of profit petroleum is also particularly exempted from GST. If you understood, good. If you did not understood, very good. What you simply have to remember without taking any tension is cost petroleum not taxable, government share of profit petroleum also exempt under GST. Right. Then this financial transaction also, along with the definition of money security, I have made you cover. So we understand that the definition of goods as well as services excludes money and security. But any transaction which is helpful to facilitate the transaction in money security, that is a supply. So I would say letter of credit. Letter of credit is money, not goods services. But any issuance charges for letter of credit, yes, that is a supply of service. Charges for making draft, yes, it is a supply of service. So GST would be levied on service charges for transactions in money, for transactions in security. Again, we had made this thing clear that for any forward or future contract, if there is cash settlement, net settlement, we consider them at par with security and no GST is chargeable. But if in case you decide to take the physical delivery, of that commodity forward or future at the time of settlement, then yes, that would be liable to GST. Alright. Sure. Tell me one thing. Being CA final students, today if I want to sell a share, is it mandatory that I should be owning those shares? Tell me. Chalo, like the video guys, first of all, I should not be telling you this every day. You have to just come and like the video. Number of students watching more and likes less. What are you doing, guys? Sure. Like the video and then tell me, today if I want to sell some shares, is it mandatory that I should be owning those shares? I feel that the price of this share is going to fall. So today I want to sell at a higher rate. Then I think I will purchase at a lower rate. Is it possible? Right. Everyone giving a common answer that no ma'am, it is not mandatory that if I want to sell the shares, I have to own them. What I can simply do is, there would be someone who is owning those shares at this point of time. He is not interested in trading into those shares. He has simply made an investment. He wants to hold on to his shares. What I can do is borrow shares from him, sell in the market at a higher price, again purchase back at a lower price, make my profit and then return these shares back to the ultimate owner of the shares. This is known as security lending scheme. So what happens is, a lender would lend some shares to the borrower, but this does not happen directly, of course. There is some approved intermediary. In between, and through this stock market approved intermediary, a borrower can borrow these shares, trade into them and then return these shares back to the original lender. Now obviously this will not happen for free. Lender would be charging some kind of lending fees. The question here is, will this lending fees be taxable under GST? See, we know that shares, securities are neither goods nor services. Means if I directly sell share, GST will not be applicable. But lending is not equivalent to selling or disposing. Lending is a separate transaction, a separate supply of service which is helping you to do your trade in the shares, which simply means lending is not equivalent to disposal of security. Therefore, whatever lending fees this lender is receiving from borrower, that would be taxable under GST. It is very well a supply of service, and also this approved intermediary would be charging some commission because he is ultimately arranging the entire transaction. This commission we already know that any agency brokerage commission charges are anyways taxable under GST. So both the lending fees received by the lender plus the commission received by the approved intermediary will be taxable under GST. Very much clear to all of us? Yes. Done, ma'am. This is a pure thing that you have to remember. I cannot do anything here. Priority sector lending certificate, they are goods, they are not services. Now, anyways, from this attempt, RCM on goods is also applicable for your examination. So earlier we only had RCM on services. So this is now anyways covered in the chapter of charge, that PSLC are considered, priority sector lending certificates are considered as goods, taxable at 12%. GST is payable on reverse charge mechanism basis, and you do not have to see whether it is interstate, always and always priority sector lending certificate transactions are treated as interstate only, and you have to pay IGST RCM. And now there's nothing to teach. This is something that you have to remember only. Anyways, if you want, you can strike this off from here because this will again come in the chapter of charge, RCM in case of goods. Sure. Then talking about joint venture. Let's say A Limited, B Limited and C Limited came together to make a JV ABC, a joint venture ABC. Each one of them contributed some capital, gave some cash call to JV so that the JV can function. So A gave cash call, B gave cash call and C also gave cash call. Basically, they made some capital contribution to the JV. Should this be taxable under GST? Say yes or no. Merely giving of capital by three people who are making a joint venture, giving cash call to the JV, giving capital contribution to the JV, should this be taxable? No doubt no. Simply money is neither goods nor security, giving of money, doing mere transaction in money. No GST would be attracted. Simple, no doubt about it. Case 2. Let's say they are not giving this cash call to JV. A gave money to B. C gave money to B. B also used his own money, used his own machinery to undertake some kind of transaction and then gave this supply to the ultimate joint venture. Then here we say that when other members of the joint venture give some kind of contribution to one operating member of the joint venture. Why? Because now this member collecting money would be using his own machinery to undertake some transaction and then provide services to JV. In that case, we say that this B Limited is giving service to A, giving service to C and also giving service to JV, and therefore this amount will be taxable under GST. There is nothing tough about it. Very simple. Any cash call or capital contribution that the members are giving to JV, no doubt about it, simply giving of money, giving capital contribution is a mere transaction in money and it will not be taxable, no GST will be charged. But if this same contribution is given to operating members who use their own machinery, it is providing services to JV also and to other members also for contribution, and this will be considered as a taxable supply. Say yes or no with me, everyone. Done? Clear? Yes, ma'am. Then next is a clarification regarding liquidated damages, compensation and penalty out of breach of contract. See, three things we had seen in schedule 2. To do an act, to tolerate an act and to not do an act or to refrain from an act. Three things we had seen that they are considered as supply of service. If I am entering into a contract, if I am entering into a contract. The contract can be express contract also, implied contract also. If I am entering into a contract and I am receiving some kind of consideration, why? Just to do something, or to tolerate something, or to simply not do something, or refrain from something. In that case, will this be considered as supply of service? The answer is yes. Let's see some examples. What can be examples to agreeing to refrain from something, agreeing to not do something? Best example is non-compete agreement. We took this example that let's say today after clearing you said I want to teach GST. I said no, keep 50 lakh rupees, you are not teaching GST. So you simply agreed to refrain from teaching just so that there is no competition. Non-compete agreement. Yes, whatever amount you receive will be taxable under GST. You are giving me a service of not teaching GST, of not doing something. Let's say even after having permission, builder is not building more floors at the building. Why? Because the neighbors are saying no, that please don't build the floors, you keep this money, our sunlight will get blocked. So the builder is agreeing to not build a floor by taking consideration. That is also agreeing to refrain from an act. He is entering into a contract and charging consideration. There is no GST. Therefore, it will be considered as supply of service and GST will be charged. Agreeing to tolerate something. Tolerate something, let's say the society. There's a rule in our society, no loudspeaker after 10 p.m. I said there's a party at my home, you keep 10,000. But today I will play music till 12 p.m. Which means my society is tolerating my loudspeaker. Society is tolerating my loudspeaker because I'm giving them compensation. So there is a contract, there is a consideration, it will be considered as supply of service. Let's say a shopkeeper is allowing some hawker to operate at a monthly payment. So I am allowing someone right in front of my shop's door that okay, you can keep your lorry here, sell pani puri, sell vegetable, whatever you want. In that case, I am tolerating that hawker. I am tolerating that hawker to operate in front of my shop. Why? Because he is giving me some kind of consideration against it. That is also supply of service. Or simply agreeing to do something. Agreeing to do something, let's say an industry agrees to install zero emission equipment. There is no legal requirement. The neighbors are requesting that please install zero emission equipment. We know your smoke emission is very less, but let's control that also so that there is proper safe environment. Now here the neighbors are paying some amount, some consideration to the factory owner so that he would install zero emission equipment. Means the factory owner is agreeing to do something, agreeing to install equipment. That is also a supply of service because there is a contract and there is a consideration. So three things: agreeing to tolerate, to do something, or to refrain from doing something. If there is contract and there is consideration, it is covered under Schedule 2 and treated as supply of service. But particularly when we talk about liquidated damages, they are not supply of service and not taxable under GST. There is a very thin line when we study this clarification. Let's take some examples and understand. Okay, so let's say today you pirate my lectures. Now normally, let's say the shuffle batch is for 7,000 rupees. You purchase lectures, you pirate everything from doing something, you copy the entire lectures in a pen drive and you start selling these lectures for 3,000 rupees. By doing such things, you were able to sold 50 lectures, let's assume. And I got to know this thing later. Now, when you had purchased lectures, it was specifically written that if any student pirates the lectures and then later on it is found out, we will be charging penalty we'll be charging penalty from that person. Now you got caught. I said, see, if I had sold these 50 lectures, I would have been able to earn 7,000 into 50 rupees, 7,000 into 50 students. But because you pirated these lectures, I lost my revenue. Chal, you have to compensate me for this revenue. Now in this case, will you treat this as supply of service? Tell me. Is this arrangement telling you that I am tolerating you pirating my lectures? Am I tolerating you pirating my lectures and I am charging consideration for this? Will you treat it as agreeing to the obligation to tolerate? The answer is no. See, understand, there was never a contract between us. I never wanted you to pirate my lectures just so that I can receive this kind of remuneration. It is because you did it some injury happened to me and I am simply trying to recover my injury. That is not a supply of service and that is not taxable under GST. So here we say any damages resulting from, let's say, damage to property, negligence, piracy, unauthorized use of trade name, copyright, any penalty for delayed construction of houses, these all things are basically liquidated damages because someone has suffered injury because of you. Someone has suffered injury because of you, and therefore we are simply compensating that person for the injury. At that point of time, we say it is not tolerating or refraining or doing something, and it is not treated as supply of service. Let's take one more example. Vimal. Bolo Zuba Kesari. Vimal, you would have seen that ad. Vimal is a pan masala. Okay. So we have Ajay Devgan. Endorsing Vimal since years. Now Vimal also hired Akshay Kumar. Vimal also hired Shah Rukh Khan. Right. They gave hefty, huge amounts to Akshay Kumar and Shah Rukh Khan. This is just all the figures and terms I'm just hypothetically taking. Okay. So Vimal also onboarded Akshay Kumar and Shah Rukh Khan to do Bolo Zuba Kesari. Now, the contract was for 5 years. And therefore, Vimal agreed to pay just, let's say, 300 crores. 300 crores to Akshay Kumar and Shah Rukh Khan, because they thought if for 5 years Akshay Kumar and SRK are going to do Bolo Zuba Kesari, people will start eating Vimal because they have a huge fan base. Considering all this thing, we agreed at 300 crores. But then there was this clause in the contract that if they leave in between of 5 years, the amount will be forfeited and they will have to pay some kind of charges. This happened. Akshay Kumar normally makes patriotic movies. So as soon as he joined Vimal, his fans started targeting him, saying that at one place you are making all these movies for like love for India, this and that, and now you are endorsing a pan masala. So Akshay Kumar thought that it is not good for my image, and right after, let's say, 6 months or 1 year, Akshay Kumar left Vimal. In this case, whatever consideration he had received, he had to give that amount back, he had to give the penalty and everything. Will this be taxable under GST? The question is, let's say Akshay Kumar paid 50 crore to Vimal because he is living in between. Will this 50 crore received by Vimal taxable under GST? Say yes or no. Will this 50 crore received by Vimal from Akshay Kumar be taxable? Are we tolerating the act of Akshay Kumar leaving and therefore charging 50 crore, or this is simply liquidated damages not taxable under GST? Very good, ma'am. This is liquidated damages not taxable under GST, because understand, we had agreed to give 300 crore to Akshay Kumar. We are giving this amount to him because we had thought he will do Bolo Zuba Kesari for 5 years. Now, if he is leaving in 6 months or 1 year, which means we will face loss of revenue. And this 50 crore is simply charged by us so that we can save on the loss of revenue. We can compensate for the loss of revenue. We never wanted Akshay Kumar to leave, understand, and therefore such amount that the supplier is receiving is not taxable under GST because it is merely compensation for the breach of contract. Vimal is aggrieved in this case, simply receiving liquidated damages. There is contract is a separate thing. The contract was there just to prevent Akshay Kumar for leaving. Therefore, we will say because Akshay Kumar left, there is a loss of revenue happening to Vimal, and Vimal is only trying to compensate. For that loss of revenue because Akshay Kumar made a breach of contract, and therefore it will not be taxable under GST. Whereas there are some normal day-to-day transactions. Let's say I am supplying goods to you and we have this normal contract, normal business terms that if you do not pay amount within 3 months, I will be charging interest from you. Now understand, I am a supplier. I make 100 sales daily. If 2, 3, 4 customers are not paying me on time, it is okay. It is ultimately not giving me any loss of revenue. I will receive the amount later. I will receive it with interest. That is fine, happening in normal course of business. So such receiving of interest for late payment, that is clubbed along with the original supply and taxable at the same rate as of original supply. So here are some examples that you can see. On the contrary, that these things are not liquidated damages. These things are not liquidated damages, happens normally in the ordinary course of business, very much normal for supplier. Yes, and therefore they will be clubbed. With the original supply only and taxable at the principal rate of tax. See, these examples that I have given you are the examples specified in the bare notification. So when government issued the bare notification, bare clarification with respect to liquidated damages, these were the original examples quoted in that particular clarification. So there are high chances that if ICAI asks a question out of it, something from these examples can be picked up. So make sure you read all of these examples carefully and go through them. See, check dishonor. Now normally there is always express implied contract. Everyone knows that if my check gets bounced, I will have to pay. My dishonor penalty, dishonor fees. Does this mean that the opposite person is tolerating my check dishonor and therefore charging this fees from me? No. Nobody would ever want any check to bounce, right? So it is not taxable, no contract. Supplier would always want to receive payment. There is never an express or implied willingness of the supplier that okay, you give me check, that check will get bounced and then I will charge check dishonor fees from you. No, therefore check dishonor fees is also not taxable under GST. Same thing. Let's say you violated traffic signal. Now everyone knows that breaking the red light signal, if the traffic police catches me, I will have to pay the challan amount. There is an express implied contract, but does that mean GST will be chargeable? No. Government is not wanting you to break the signal just so that government can get revenue out of you. No. They have kept this provision so that people are not breaking laws. The ultimate idea is to make people obey the laws, not to break laws so that government can get remuneration. So therefore, such kind of penalties imposed for violation of laws are also not taxable under GST. So such kind of similar examples are given. You can just go through these examples one and that would sum up with the entire clarification of liquidated damages. Right. Now, clarification regarding applicability of GST on sale of land. Sure. Let me ask you this question. Okay, so we have Yash, we have Mithil, and let's say we have Mehul. Okay, so Yash sold a land to Mehul for 1 crore rupees. So Mehul purchased a land for 1 crore rupees, but that land was not proper leveled. There were no proper drainage systems. There were no fencing. So Mehul could get this land at 1 crore only. After purchasing this land, what Mehul did, hired 2-3 people to level up the land, to make fencing and to lay drainage pipes and everything, and then he made that land look very pretty. And then Mehul ultimately sold this land to Mithil for, let's say, 3 crore rupees. There are 3 transactions involved here. Transaction number 1 between Yash and Mehul involving 1 crore consideration. Transaction number 2 between Mehul and all of these workers who laid drainage pipes, etc. And in such case, let's say he incurred a total expense of only 60 lakh rupees. 1 crore he purchased the land. 60 lakh rupees he incurred on the land to make that land look pretty. And then ultimately, he was able to sold this land. Now again, this transaction happening between Mehul and Mithil, where he sold this land for 3 crore rupees. Tell me, what will you consider as supply and make it taxable under GST? 3 transactions, transaction 1, 2 and 3. Which transaction out of these 3 will be taxable, and if taxable, for what amount will be taxable? Chalo. This should not be a doubt at all, okay? Even if there's no clarification, even if there's no clarification from government side, we already knew this thing. Yes. So case number 1 is a clear case of sale of land and building which is outside the purview of GST, and therefore we do not consider it as supply and no GST will be chargeable. Case number 2, there's a common normal transaction. I am getting some work done on land. There is no transaction happening in land. There is no transaction happening in land. I am simply getting some work done on land, right? Therefore, yes, this is a normal supply. This is a normal supply taxable under GST, otherwise exempt somewhere. And now you cannot say that the land is only for 1 crore 60 lakh, but now I am selling it for 3 crores, so the differential amount should be taxable. No, nothing like that. Even if you sell the land as it is, or you incur some expenses on that land and then you sell the land, under both the cases it is a sale of land only, and therefore this entire 3 crore also no GST will be levied. Is this clear to all of us? Yes, only leveling would be taxable, only the transaction between Mehul and workers would be taxable, no other transaction will be taxable. That this is what is written here. See, land may be sold either as it is or after some kind of development. Under both cases, we cover it under Schedule 3 negative list only, not taxable. Accordingly, it does not attract GST. However, understand, it may be noted that any service provided for development of land like leveling, laying of pipes, etc., that would attract GST normally, as it is a normal transaction. So even if we do not study this, you can just strike this off. You are never going to forget this particular clarification. Alright. Then interstate movement of various modes of conveyance between distinct person. Interstate movement of various modes of conveyance between distinct person. See, what is the issue arising here? So let's say I am staying at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I am staying at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Okay, I have one shop here. I also have one more establishment, one more shop in Mumbai. I got a huge order. I got a huge order at the Ahmedabad shop, but I was not having sufficient stock. So I called up my Mumbai unit, my Mumbai store. They said, yes, we have units in the stock. It's fine. I sent a truck to Mumbai. This conveyance went, goods were loaded, and this came back. Now, one thing we know, that the Ahmedabad establishment and the Mumbai establishment, they are both distinct person because same PAN, separate registration. So whatever goods came in the conveyance will be treated as deemed supply according to Schedule 1. Say which para? Quickly tell me according to which para of Schedule 1. This supply of goods even without consideration will be treated as deemed supply. No doubt about the goods. Now, some of you might have a doubt that, ma'am, this conveyance is also going from one place to another place of a distinct person only. So, should this conveyance also be considered as deemed supply? Goods is okay. Goods is okay. Goods coming from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Goods coming from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, same PAN, separate registration, distinct person, supply between distinct person in course furtherance of business. Very good. Schedule 1, para 2. Schedule 1, para 2, we consider it as supply even without consideration. So no doubt about goods. The doubt is about the conveyance. The conveyance also went from distinct person to distinct person. No. Now this truck was, let's assume this truck was worth 20 lakh rupees. So should entire 20 lakh be also considered as supply because the truck also sent from one distinct person to another distinct person? No. That is what the clarification is saying here. That whenever a conveyance is moving, a conveyance could be train, bus, truck, tanker, trailer, vessel, container, aircraft, anything. You are moving these kind of conveyances just so that you can carry passengers or goods, or let's say your conveyance got some kind of issue and you want to get it repaired. There was no mechanic available in entire Gujarat and I had to send my truck to Maharashtra just so that I can get it repaired. Now, in such cases, merely sending your conveyance so that you can transport your passengers' goods or you can get your conveyance repaired to your distinct person is neither considered as goods nor considered as supply of service. But there's one exception to it. Let's say dealing in trucks is my business. So, I am sending truck as a stock. I am sending truck from Gujarat to Maharashtra so that this truck can be sold further from the Maharashtra unit. Now in that case, obviously it is now my truck is not truck, actually the truck is goods for us because we are going to deal in these trucks. So except in cases where the movement is for further supply, that's a separate story. But other than that, it will neither be treated as good and nor be treated as services. And therefore no GST will be applicable. This applies mutatis mutandis as it is to any rigs, tools, spares or any goods on wheels like cranes or anything that I'm sending to my distinct person. Is it clear to all of us? Say yes or no. Done. Again, point number 17, government has issued clarification, but basically this is something that you already know, just like the leveling of land part. They are saying there's this holding company or parent company. Holding company or parent company holding shares of a subsidiary company. A parent company or a holding company is holding shares of subsidiary company. Is this holding of shares of your subsidiary company will be considered as supply of service is my question. Tell me. Is the parent company providing some kind of service by holding shares of subsidiary company? Say yes or no. See, even without teaching this, you already know that dealing in securities is not a transaction which is taxable under GST because securities are neither goods nor services. So the activity of holding shares of subsidiary company by holding company cannot be treated as supply of service. Why? Because and cannot be taxed under GST because securities are neither goods nor services. If you are dealing into something which is not goods or services, obviously GST cannot be levied on it because GST, goods and services tax, is essentially a tax which can only be levied on goods or services only. Yes or no? You can simply write like C category here. It is okay even if you do not refer this on the day of examination because you already know this. There is no need to teach you this thing again. Alright. Now last part of the chapter, which is taxability of personal and corporate guarantee. You can just write here Rule 28 value of supply chapter. I will bring you back here once we complete value of supply chapter Rule 28. Okay, I'm not even giving you overview right now because this will be more clear to you once we complete Rule 28 of value of supply. So for now, you can just leave this page and give reference of value of supply chapter. Once we complete that part, I will bring you back here to this taxability of personal and corporate guarantee. Okay, now this is something that is actually not required to be taught at CA final level. You should be already knowing this, that for any transaction to be liable under GST, there are two conditions. See, one thing we know, there has to be goods services. Those goods services has to be supplied. This should not be exempted otherwise. And all of these situations, if okay, then GST levied. But two very much essential conditions, that the supply has to be taxable. The supply has to be taxable and the supplier has to be taxable. The supply has to be taxable and the supplier has to be taxable. There is no condition on recipient being taxable. Supplier and supply taxable, GST will be levied. Let's take example, selling of cakes. Simply if I say, there is a person selling cakes, tell me, is this a normal transaction under GST? Is this a taxable transaction under GST? Say yes or no. Today, if I start baking cakes and I sell cakes, is selling of cakes a normal supply under GST which should be taxable? Yes or no, everyone? Yes, ma'am. Cakes are not exempt under GST. So if someone is selling a cake, charging consideration for it, yes, we understand it is a normal supply transaction. Now, if I tell you, there is this small girl who has just learned how to bake a cake. And she has started selling cakes. In entire 1 year, she was able to sell only cake worth 5 lakh rupees. Only cake worth 5 lakh rupees she was able to sell. Now tell me, for this girl, will selling of cake attract GST? For this small girl, will selling of cake attract GST? Say yes or no. The answer is no. Why? Because this girl will not be required to take registration. The 20 lakh, 40 lakh limit is not reached and therefore she will not be required to take registration. If she is unregistered, she cannot collect GST. So normally the supply that she is making is taxable. But just because the supplier herself is not taxable, therefore we are saying that no GST will be charged. Let's take another example. There's a provision store. There is a provision store which is registered under GST. Now this provision store is selling biscuit and this provision store is also selling salt. Biscuits are normally taxable under GST. Salt is exempt under GST. But now here the supplier is registered. The supply is also taxable. Therefore, while selling biscuit, GST will be levied. But while selling salt, GST will not be levied, because even if the supplier is taxable, the supply in itself is not taxable. So the two conditions that we have to fulfill here is, one, the supply has to be taxable. Second, the supplier has to be taxable. Only then GST can be levied. It is okay, recipient may be taxable or may not be taxable. Now, being CA final students, this should not be a concern for you, because many times when we go to charge chapter or something like that, I will say renting of immovable property taxable under forward charge mechanism. Then students will ask, ma'am, what if rent is only 10,000? Then how forward charge? We are not registered. Are Baba, renting is taxable. Renting is taxable, like selling of cake is taxable. Now it will depend on the supplier whether he is taxable or not. If he is taxable, GST will be levied. If he is not taxable, GST will not be levied. So this thing, now when I am teaching you, you will say, this is very easy. We already know. That's why she is teaching this. You know this. But when I teach you charge, when I teach you FCM, RCM concepts, you will again mess up and then ask me, but ma'am, what if you are saying forward charge mechanism, but what if rent is only 15,000? Why to pay GST? Are Baba, I am teaching you rent is taxable. I am not saying GST in every transaction will be levied. Rent is taxable. No. Now, if your turnover exceeds the limit, you charge GST. If your turnover not exceeding the limit, you do not charge GST. Right? Yes or no? Is this clear? Tell me. Done. So we complete entire section 7, scope of supply under GST. 7.1, supply includes. 7.2, supply excludes. 7.3, government has power to notify certain transactions as goods not service or service not goods. And then section 7.1a, which simply gives us schedule 2 to understand what is goods and what is services. Schedule 1 we studied along with section 7.1 for supply without consideration, and schedule 3 negative list we studied along with section 7.2 supply excludes. Are we feeling confident? Samajh aaya, maza aaya, yaad hua? You understood, you enjoyed this session, and you also kind of remembered all the things that I taught you. Yes, with me everyone. Chal. We'll take a small break. Then we resume with composite and mixed supply, and then we will see some questions for supply. Then start with the chapter of charge. For first 2-3 days, we will go kind of slow so that you understand things, you understand my approach, you understand how to solve questions, how to remember things, and how to go about the batch. Then after 3-4 days, we'll pick up slight pace because we have to complete the entire syllabus ultimately in 13 to 14 days. This is not a regular batch. You have to keep that thing in mind. This is not a regular batch. For now, I am taking it very slow, faster than regular batch, but slower than we should be normally going. Once we are comfortable with the language, pace, accent and everything, we will speed up a bit. Right? Chalo. So let's take a small break. I would say not small. Let's take a 15 minutes break. A 15 minutes break, and then we resume with composite and mixed supply. Chalo, are we all back, guys? Sorry for the delay. Something urgent had come up. Chalo. Are we back, everyone? Give me a thumbs up. Shall we resume? Yes, ma'am. So we completed section 7 of CGST Act before break. Now starting with section 8 of CGST Act, which is the favorite section of CA final students as such, because this is something where you never make a mistake, and this is something that you've already studied at your inter CA level. So section 8, how to remember? S for 7, S for supply, section 7, scope of supply. S for 7, S for supply, section 7, scope of supply. 2 zeros getting mixed become 8. 2 zeros getting mixed become 8, composite and mixed supply. How to remember this? How we used to write 8 when we were small? 0, 0, 8. So mix. We are mixing 2 zeros. So simply you remember 2 zeros getting mixed, section 8, composite and mixed supply. Right. What is the issue arising here? Let's say there's a combo made of 2 or more goods or services and they're supplied at a single price. So there is a perfume, a chocolate, flour and a card. Everything is made in a combo and supplied, let's say, at a single price of 2000 rupees. Now, there are individual rates of GST applicable. Let's say perfume taxable for 18%, chocolate for 12%, flour might be exempt also, card at 5%. Now, the issue would arise that this 2000 should be chargeable at what rate of tax? Because we have multiple rate of taxes for multiple goods or services involved here. Such issues can normally arise because commonly in business, many things are clubbed together and supplied at a single price. To solve this issue, we come up with composite supply and mixed supply provisions, section number 8. Composite supply simply says that if the bundle, whatever goods or services are clubbed, if they are naturally bundled, in ordinary course of business only they are supplied in conjunction with each other, then in that case we say one of them is principal and the another goods or service is just clubbed with it so that we can enjoy the principal supply better. See, principal supply means the supply of goods or services which constitutes the main predominant element, and whatever is the secondary supply involved, that just helps us. The ancillary supply helps us to enjoy the principal supply better. Then in that case, we say the entire combo is taxable at the principal rate of supply only. The entire combo is taxable at the principal rate of supply only. Let's say a television set supplied with a mandatory 1-year warranty. So today if you purchase a new television or a fridge, normally it is a common practice. It is a common practice that naturally in ordinary course of business only, such things are supplied in conjunction with each other. Is one of them principal? Yes. You are purchasing television because you want warranty, or you are getting warranty because you purchase television. Of course, television is important. You can individually also go and purchase extended warranty, which might be taxable at 18%. Television might be taxable at 28%. Because this is a combo of a composite supply. And this is naturally bundled in ordinary course of business, we will say that the entire supply will be taxable at the rate of tax applicable to the television set. Let's say a laptop supplied with a laptop bag. Now again, it is very much normal that a large number of customers expect a laptop to come with laptop bag. A large number of suppliers also supply laptop with a laptop bag. They are normally even advertised together, they are bundled together, they are packaged together. And one thing, laptop bag will help us to keep laptop, carry laptop, which means laptop bag is actually helping us to enjoy laptop more. So nature is such that the incidental service helps in better enjoyment of the main service. So we can say that yes, they are naturally bundled in ordinary course of business. Now let's say laptop taxable at 18%, laptop bag you can also purchase separately, which is taxable at 28% normally. But in this case, since we are making a combo of laptop bag, being a composite supply, laptop being primary, the entire combo will be taxable at 18% only, which is the rate applicable to laptop. Yes or no, everyone? Yes, ma'am. So we understood the concept of composite supply. Section 8A composite supply simply says that supply made by a taxable person to a recipient comprising of two or more taxable supplies or any combination thereof, naturally bundled, supplied in conjunction with each other in ordinary course of business, and one of them is a principal supply. We charge the entire combo at the principal rate of tax only. Now, few clarifications with respect to composite supply. This particular printing clarification is important from examination point of view. Chal, let's say Riddhi, I wrote this entire IDT handwritten notes. I made PDF of it and I sent it to my printer, publisher. Now, I have given content to the printer. I have given PDF to the printer. I want the printer to give me two things. One, printing service. I want him to print this PDF for me. And second, to use his own paper only. I am not giving him paper that keep paper, print and then give me. I will tell him that you use your own paper. This is the quality of paper that I want. So you use your own paper and provide me printing service. So one, I am getting a printing service. Second, I am also getting paper which is goods. Tell me, is this a composite supply? One thing is clear that two things are bundled, printing service as well as paper goods. Two things are bundled. Now, will you consider this as composite supply? Say yes or no. Is it naturally bundled that paper and printing services go hand in hand and normally consumers and suppliers expect it to be together only? The answer is yes, of course. Yes, of course, it is very much ordinary course of business that printing and paper are supplied together. Now, here the question is, what should be considered primary? Should I apply the rate of service to this entire consideration or should I apply the rate of goods to this entire consideration? That is the question arising here. Now, for that, you need to ask yourself one thing. What is important? What is primary? Now, today, if you are purchasing the handwritten notes, are you more interested in the quality of the pages or you are more important about the quality of the content? Of course, content. You see content on the internet, you see content in YouTube videos and seeing that content you ordered my books. Not because someone told you, hey, the quality of page is very nice, you ordered this ma'am's book. Of course, no. So what is important is content, which means paper as such is not important here only. What is important is the printing service. So whenever something like books, pamphlets, reports, brochures, etc. are printed, where the content is primary, where the content is principal, we will say it is supply of service. On the other hand, let's say we get some envelopes, tissues printed. Now, I got envelopes printed with my name written on it, Riddhi Bagma, so that whenever I give someone a cover and envelope, I can give it along with my name. Now, in that case, the person would be more concerned about the quality of the envelope, about the quality of the tissue paper. Let's say I got a tissue paper printed along with the logo of Fast on it. So what will be more important? Have you ever seen logo on a tissue paper? Like you go to restaurant, you first want to check the logo. Hey, the logo is looking so pretty. Then you use the tissue paper. No. For you, what is important? The quality of the tissue paper, the quality of the envelope. And therefore, the paper, the goods becomes more important here and not the printing services. So it is very much simple that whenever a composite supply of printing as well as paper is provided together, we will see if the content is principal, if the content is primary, we will consider it as supply of service. But something like envelopes or tissues where the quality of paper is important, we consider it as supply of goods. Bus bodybuilding depends on case-to-case basis, means not at all relevant. See, bus bodybuilding can sometimes be service, sometimes be goods. So let's say a major accident happened and the entire bus was crashed. Now, if you are changing all the spare parts, all the components of the bus, we may treat it as supply of goods because the content of goods is more and that is only important. There's some minor accident happening and you're just repairing the bus or something like that. You may be using some of your goods or spare parts, but the service becomes more important. So that would depend on the facts and circumstances. That would depend on the facts and circumstances of each case, that whether this bus bodybuilding is supply of goods or supply of service. Then retreading of tires. What do we understand by the term retreading of tires? See. If you see a tire, you would see these kind of lines on the tire. Why? So that friction can be created. If there are no lines, no friction, even if you apply brakes, the tire won't stop. So these lines. Now, let's say you've traveled thousands of kilometers, ultimately the tire would get worn out. And in such cases, you have to get this thing done again, which is known as retreading. So they would apply a layer back of these lines so that the friction can be created again. That is known as retreading of tires. Now simply, if you take your own tire along with you to the person doing retreading, so I am giving my own tire and I am just telling him to do the retreading, that would be supply of service. But if I simply go to that person and tell him that whatever old tire you have, retread it and give it to me, in that case the tire also belongs to that person, retreading is also done by that person, that would be treated as supply of goods, because now the main thing becomes tire and here the main thing becomes retreading. So very simple, in case of retreading, if the tire is belonging to recipient is bringing his own tire, giving it for retreading, that is supply of service. But if the tire also belongs to the supplier, that is considered as supply of goods, right? Then coming to supply of food or beverages in cinema hall, again very simple. Today in Book My Show and etc. apps, what you can do is, let's say I booked a combo. 1000 rupees, 3 tickets along with one large popcorn tub with Coke. So this is a combo that I booked for 1000 rupees. Now is it natural, ordinary course of business? Yes. Normally whenever a person goes to see movies, it has become very much normal for people to now purchase these kind of popcorns, Cokes and movie tickets together. So yes, it is a composite supply. The question here is, what is important, movie or Coke? What is important for you? Purchasing ticket of the movie is primary or purchasing Coke, popcorn and Coke is primary? You go to have popcorn, that's why you see a movie, or you go to see a movie, that's why you have popcorns. Of course cinema is primary, of course movie is important. So we simply say that whenever such kind of combo is supplied, where the sale of cinema ticket and supply of food beverages are clubbed together at a single price, we will say that the cinema exhibition service is important. The cinema exhibition service is important and the rate of GST applicable on that exhibition service will be applicable to entire 1000 rupees. On the other hand, let's say I purchase tickets separately. I got 3 tickets for 500 rupees. Now I go purchase popcorn and Coke separately. Then movie ticket will be taxable at the rate of movie ticket and this popcorn and Coke will be taxable as if we have supplied some kind of restaurant services. Very much normal. So if food or beverages are supplied by way of or as a part of service and supplied independently to the movie exhibition, then in that case we say it is taxable as restaurant service separately and cinema exhibition service will be treated separately, taxable at its own rate of tax only. What do we understand by the term restaurant service? Now restaurant is a very broad term, right? So restaurant would involve restaurant, eating joints, mess, canteen, any place from where you can take food and eat is known as restaurant. So we are simply saying that any premises where food or any other article for human consumption is supplied, we can simply call it as restaurant. So you cannot say that it is not a restaurant, it is a theatre. Or it's okay, even if you can have popcorn, Coke, samosa, fries from the theatre and have it there. No, we can still consider it as restaurant service if you are purchasing popcorns separately than the movie tickets. Then this is only the amendment part. See, even if I had not taught you this amendment, on yourself only based on the understanding that you have about composite mix supply, you would be easily able to understand this. Now getting to applicability of GST on supply of electricity by real estate companies, malls, airport operators. Now what happens normally? See, if this is a mall, let's say this is a mall, there are various shops in the mall, yes, and they are all rented. Of course, the mall owner owns the entire mall and he gives these shops on rent to multiple companies. Now, there can be two kinds of agreement between them. Agreement number one, where I am charging rent plus whatever is the electricity. So we have separate meters for all these shops and whatever is the actual electricity consumption, whatever is the actual electricity bill, that we are charging from these shops. That is normal agreement number one, which rarely happens. What normally happens is we are charging rent plus we charge lump sum electricity. So let's say the entire mall bill electricity is something, we would split it up for various shops and we would straight away charge some kind of amount for electricity or maintenance from these kind of shops. Now we are saying that whenever we are doing it these ways, that we make a full combo. We make a full combo that you pay this X amount and this X amount is for rent, maintenance, electricity, everything. In that case, of course, it becomes a composite supply. Yes. Now, electricity is normally exempt under GST. Okay. Electricity, if you ever happen to see your electricity bill, you would see that if there are some kind of meter charges, shifting charges, testing charges, they would be taxable. But the pure consumption of electricity that you do is exempt under GST. But in this case, since it becomes a composite supply and the rent per se is taxable, therefore the entire combo becomes taxable at the rate of rent only, rent becoming the principal supply here. So whenever electricity is bundled with renting of immovable property, we have bundled electricity with renting with maintenance services. In that case, it becomes a composite supply. Then even if you bill it separately, you say 1 lakh rent plus 10,000 electricity every month. This is not on actual basis. It is actually 1 lakh 10,000 that you are charging for electricity, for rent, for maintenance, everything. Then this entire thing will be specifically taxable at the rate applicable to renting of immovable property only. But on the other hand, electricity supplied by the owner or the developer of the mall or airport separately as pure agent, that every month, every quarter, whatever is the actual bill that the owner is paying, that actual same bill is charged from you as pure agent on actual basis, same amount as is appearing in the electricity bill from the electricity board or discoms. Then in that case, it will not form part of your renting value of supply. Electricity being a separate thing, exempt under GST, will be a separate supply, and your renting of immovable property or maintenance services would be a separate supply. Is this clear to all of us? Tell me. Is this clear to all of us? We've completed only one part of the chapter, which is composite supply, along with all the clarifications and examples. Simply what you have to remember end of the day is composite supplies are naturally bundled, supplied in conjunction with each other in ordinary course of business. One of them has to be principal, one of them has to be primary. Then in that case, the entire combo is taxable at the thing which is principal in the entire combo. So whatever rate of tax is applicable to the principal supply becomes applicable to the entire combo. Say yes or no. Yes, ma'am. So now we come to section 8B, which is mixed supply. Section 8A talks about composite supply and 8B talks about mixed supply, right? Mixed supply is just opposite of composite supplies, which says if something is bundled and it is not natural, not an ordinary course of business, not composite, it would automatically become mixed supply. So 2 or more individual supplies made by a taxable person for a single price, 2 or more supplies made for a single price which are not composite can be supplied independent also, means none of them is primary, none of them is principal, we are just jabardasti making a combo. Then in that case, they are not naturally bundled. So what you will do is, whatever goods or services are being clubbed together, you will check rate of taxes for all of them, and whatever is the highest rate of tax applicable, that would be attracted for the entire combo that you have made. So this is treated as supply of that particular item which attracts the highest rate, and the entire combo of mixed supply is taxable at the highest rate of supply that can be applicable. For example, you are making a hamper of perfume, cosmetics, chocolates. Each item individually is important, and there is no such requirement or there is no such natural bundle that chocolate has to be supplied along with perfume only. They can very well be separately supplied, therefore this is a mixed supply. Let's say I have this property where the ground floor is commercial and the rest floors are residential. I decide to rent up this entire property. Now under GST, renting of commercial properties is taxable and renting of residential properties in some cases are exempt, right? So let's say I rented out this entire premise. For a single price. I said 3 lakh would be the monthly rent. 3 lakh is the monthly rent for this entire building. Now, first of all, tell me, I have mixed up two supplies. One renting of commercial property, another renting of residential property. Is this a mixed supply or is this a composite supply according to you? Tell me. The rate of GST applicable on commercial renting is 18% and here let's say residential renting is exempt, therefore 0. So, is this a composite supply or is this a mixed supply? Ma'am, this is a mixed supply because there is no such requirement or there is no such natural ordinary course of business thing to happen that renting is done together. We could easily have made two separate agreements for ground floor commercial renting and for top floors residential renting. So this is not at all a mixed supply. This is not at all a composite supply. This is a bundle that we have created jabardasti. This is a mixed supply, and therefore what is the highest rate of tax, exempt or 18? 18. Therefore entire 3 lakh. Entire 3 lakh would be taxable at the rate of 18% only. You could have saved on this tax by making two separate agreements for residential property and commercial property. So in a complex, let's say residential which is exempt and commercial which is taxable at 18%, unit are rented out together under a single contract for a single price, then the entire amount shall be taxed at 18%, considering it is a mixed supply irrespective of the fact that one of them is exempt under GST. And the last part says is just because something is built together, just because something is built together doesn't mean it is composite or mixed supply. Let's say you go to mall, you purchase soap, you purchase perfume, you purchase clothes, you purchase calculator, you purchase a pen. You go to the billing counter, a single invoice would be made. Let's say the total comes to 4,000 rupees. You have paid 4,000 together. Is it a composite supply? Is it a mixed supply? Or is it none of the above? Composite supply, mixed supply, or none of the above? Tell me. I go to a mall, I purchase various items. I know the value of supply for all of them. I just get billed all of them together and pay a single price. Is it a combo? Is it composite? Is it mixed, or it is nothing? It is nothing. Why? Because I know the price of soap, I know the rate of tax applicable on it. I know the price of perfume, I know the rate of tax applicable on it. So I can simply get them all billed separately also. There is no combo made from the side of supplier. It is me who is purchasing various items together and just getting them billed together. So it is neither composite supply nor mixed supply. The individual rate of taxes, the respective individual rate of taxes will be applicable to particular supplies. So soap taxable at 18, perfume taxable at 28, and this is how, if you ever happen to see an invoice that you get from mall, you would see a GST summary table that this is the items taxable at 5%, this is 12, this is 18%, and this is how individually applying individual rate of taxes to respective supplies, GST is calculated. So do not think that just because you are paying the amount together, it becomes a mixed supply. No, it is you who have made this combo and not your supplier. So they are simply saying that when both the supplies carry independent significances, separate considerations are charged. In invoices also we know what is the separate price of all of them. They are neither composite nor mixed and they shall be taxable at their respective applicable rate of taxes only. Done. Here we finish up entire chapter of supply under GST. See, in module, composite mixed supply is also a part of supply under GST only. For our ease of understanding, I have broken this chapter into two parts, which is supply and composite mixed supply. But if you see ICAI module, as such, there is no need because I have covered everything in notes. Now see, two things that I wanted to tell you. Let's say you decide to go through ICAI module once. Very nice. You would find some clarifications or circulars which are not covered in the notes. Let's say you would find something with respect to discount or insurance premium. You would find that bonus, claim bonus for insurance premium. Do not think, hey ma'am, you did not teach this in the class. Where is it? We have covered it in the chapter of value of supply. Okay. So somewhere or the other, once we complete the entire syllabus, every single thing that is in the ICAI SM will be covered in the class. Do not think that ma'am no claim bonus point is given in ICAI module in supply chapter. Why you have not taught? I will teach you that thing, but in value of supply chapter. So at some places I have changed the placements of the topics that ICAI has given in some another chapter. I have taken in some another chapter based on my flow or based on what I feel would be more better for you to understand. So if you want to refer ICAI SM, very good, open for you to refer, but please make sure then do not get into doubt that this is covered, this is not covered. Everything is covered. Once you finish up the entire 400 pages of the notes, you will realize every single thing that is contained in ICAI module that is relevant for your examination is covered in our notes. If not in this chapter, in some another chapter, but I have taken it all. So if at all you decide to refer SM, please keep this thing in mind. Right? Sure. Come to question bank. I'll leave you early today. We'll just solve some questions of supply chapter and then charge we will start tomorrow. Tomorrow's session will be on app. Now today is the last open session on YouTube. From tomorrow we will be shifting to app. So I'll just make you solve some questions of supply chapter and we'll go very slow. We will go very slow so that one, you can get confidence about the language, that whatever language we are reading in notes, is that the exact language that we are required to use in the examination. One, that. Second, how to present the answer. Third, even if you are referring ICAI suggested answers, there are some things that you need to keep in mind. ICAI is not consistent in following a particular format, but we need to be consistent about our format that fetches us maximum marks. So how to write, how to present, what language to use, everything I am teaching you today in the chapter of supply. For remaining lectures, I will not be teaching this again and again, because do remember we are in a power batch. We have half of the duration that we take in the regular batch and we need to get maximum out of it. So one time I will teach you how to write answers, how to read question, how to present the language. Then you have to keep these things in mind. Chalo, open the question bank. If you are not having hard copy, I have already shared soft copy of the question bank on the drive link provided to you. So quickly open it and give me a thumbs up that yes ma'am, we've got our calculators, question bank, paper and pen so that we can start. Chalo with me everyone. Solving only ICAI SM questions would be slightly risky because ICAI SM questions do not have coverage of past exam questions, some RTPs, MTPs. So there's no need to refer ICAI SM for concepts, that is for sure. If you are referring handwritten notes, it is more than enough. You are not required to refer any other material, not even required to refer the ICAI SM. I have covered everything in the notes. For questions, I would advise you referring the question bank only. Solving only ICAI SM questions might be slightly risky for your practice point of view. Done? Sure. Come to question number 1. Satyamev Printers is a printing house registered under GST. Okay. It receives an order for printing 5,000 copies on a book. So we've received order to print a book on yoga. Well-known yoga guru. So the content is provided to us by the well-known yoga guru. The content of the book is provided by the yoga guru. It is agreed that Satyamev Printer will use its own paper. Is something striking to you where the question is from? Yes, that clarification of composite supply, where Satyamev Printer have to provide printing service also, and they also have to use their own paper also. And this is very well a composite supply. You are required to determine the rate of GST applicable. So they are saying that normally on printing services, 18% GST is applicable, and on goods, on paper, 12% GST is applicable. Chalo. Without referring to answer, without any provision, first of all, tell me answer in 5 seconds. What will be the rate of tax applicable on printing of a book where the yoga content is provided by the guru? 18 is service, 12 is goods. Chalo. This is a composite supply. Yes, we are very much sure about it that printing service and paper go hand in hand. So this is a composite supply. 18% or 12% is my question. So we know the answer is 18%. Why? Because the content would be important. This is a book. So if a person is purchasing the book, he would be more interested in reading the content about yoga and not about the quality of the paper. So yes, printing service becomes primary and 18% applicable on printing service will be the answer. Right. So the next minute you read the question, you already know the answer. But will just writing 18% fetch you marks in exam? The answer is no. Now listen to me very carefully. For any theory question I am teaching you, practical we'll see separately. For any theory question that is asked in examination, you will find various presentations in ICAI suggested. See, in our question bank, we do not change the suggested answer of ICAI. So the way ICAI presents the answer, I will give you straight up that ways only. So we will find differences in them. How you have to approach any theory question is a 3-paragraph approach. We call it as a 3-paragraph approach. What is this 3-paragraph approach? Para number 1, you have to write the provision. So after reading this question, I have understood that the question is from composite and mixed supply. So first of all, I will give them the definition of composite supply. Let's see. We are for now on para number 1. So composite supply means supply made by taxable person to a recipient consisting of 2 or more taxable supplies or any combination, naturally bundled, supplied in conjunction with each other, ordinary course of business, and one of them is principal. Is the language ditto same to same that we have studied in the notes? Yes. It is just that I have given it to you in a chart format. What you have to do is joint everything and write it in a paragraph format. Chalo, let's come back here to the notes. This detailed thing I am giving you only for one chapter. Of course, we are in a power batch. I will not repeat these things again. So make sure you are attentive here. This will give you immense confidence in the batch and book. Right. Coming to composite supply. Supply made by taxable person to a recipient comprising 2 or more taxable supply, any combination thereof. Supply made to a taxable person consisting 2 or more taxable supplies, any combination thereof. 4 points. Naturally bundled, supplied in conjunction with each other, ordinary course of business, one of them is principal supply. This is known as a composite supply. That is definition of a composite supply. Then we know that composite supplies are normally taxed at principal rate of tax only. So that is also something that we are going to explain it to them. Let's see, according to section 8, whenever there is a composite supply, whatever is principal, that only rate, that predominant element, principal rate is something that we apply to the entire supply. This is the provision based on which the question is being asked. Also, this is about composite supply. One more thing that you need to explain it to them is about the clarification with respect to printing services. Here 2 provisions are involved. The question involves 2 provisions. One with respect to composite supply. Second with respect to clarification of composite supply about printing service. So again they have explained this thing that a circular. Is writing circular number important? Not at all. See, writing section number is also not important. If you remember, you can write. Circular number is, don't even think of remembering any notification number, circular number, nothing. You can simply say that according to a circular, it has been clarified that whenever we get any books, pamphlets, brochures or something like that printed, where the content is primary, we consider it as supply of services. So here it might be possible that normally for a provision, we write only 1 paragraph. But if 2 provisions are involved, so 2 paragraphs will have to be written. Very simple. If the question is only from 1 provision, we write 1 paragraph. 2 provisions involved. Here, first para, I will explain what is composite supply. Second para, I will also explain the clarification of the circular based on which the question is asked. Second paragraph, we give them the facts of case. Now we will explain it to them. Let's see. In this particular case, printing and paper, both the things are provided, which is naturally bundled, therefore it is a composite supply. Also looking at the circular, it is very much clear that the content of the book is primary and therefore this becomes predominantly a printing service. That is the facts of the case. And then ultimately you write a final 3rd paragraph giving them the ultimate answer that see, based on the above provision and the facts of the case, now we conclude that the rate applicable will be the rate on printing services, which is 18%. This is how you present the answer. Give me answer for 2 questions. 1, are you getting confidence on the notes? And 2, are you becoming confident about how to present the answer? When I keep saying notes is the only thing that you need to refer. Why? Because this is the exact language that you are required to present in examination. Now understand, if I'd have wanted, I could have squeezed this book into 250 pages also. Why I did not do that? I could have simply written that composite supply, naturally bundled, ordinary course of business, principal rate, taxable. Even that much explanation would help you write the answer, would help you get the correct answer possible. But would that help you write the exact language required by ICI? The answer is no. Therefore, not just for IDT, for all subjects, I would advise you this thing. Go for a book which is not very big, of course. You need to keep two things in mind. One, whatever book you are using for any subject, you should be able to cover in 1.5 days. If you are unable to cover that entire book, if you are unable to cover that entire book in 1.5 day, it simply means that you will not be able to revise everything, and whatever you do not revise on the day of examination, you will not be able to recall in examination. So one thing, the book should not be very much bulky, because ultimately you need to cover it in 1.5 day. But second thing, the book should not be very short also, because if there are only and only keywords in the book, no sentences, no language, you will be able to crack the answer. You will be able to solve MCQs, but ultimately you will not be able to write the sentences because you have not read the sentences. And during those 3 hours of examination, you do not have that much time to just recall the key points, to make sentences and then write. Also, if you read 100 words, you remember only 70 out of it. While writing, you are able to give to the examiner only 60 or 50 out of it. Now, if you decide to study only 60, you will end up writing only 30 or 40 of what is required. So, it is always good to refer a balanced book which is not very big and not very small. Now, this was not related to my subject, but just I wanted you to keep this thing in mind, because your second or third revision would be going on at this point of time. So, make sure you are very much confident about whatever material you are using. Right. So this is how you will always write a 3-paragraph approach in any of your theory question. I am yet to discuss how to write a practical answer. I am only teaching you how to write a theory answer with a 3-paragraph approach, explain the provision, give the facts of the case, and then ultimately present the conclusion. And make sure you are writing the exact language that I am teaching you in the notes. I am very much confident that whatever language I have used, I have just changed the presentation. I have just wanted your eyes to look at the notes and think that this is very easy and very small. Ultimately, if you joint everything, we also studied definition of goods yesterday, definition of services yesterday. If you club everything, word to word, everything will match with the exact definition that you are required to write in the examination. So do not worry about the language, blindly rely on the notes, and that same language will be required by you to be written in examination. Done hai? Yes, ma'am. Seema, why no? Any issues? Not clear with something? Not clear with something? Let me know. Sure. Let's start with question number 2. Now you will see. Question number 1, they have given such big answer. Writing entire provision, everything. Question number 2, they've simply one line finished up the answer. Now this is not how we write the answer, right? We will always stick to 3-paragraph approach. Even in question 2, the ICI has given in SM such a small answer, but I will tell you how to present this. So see, Sudama Associates, a registered supplier, disposes the computers owned by business without consideration. It has not claimed ITC on such computer. Okay. So first of all, we have disposed the computer without consideration. Without consideration means I will have to check for schedule 1. So quickly tell me, according to schedule 1, does this qualify as a deemed supply? Say yes or no. We have to check 3 things according to para 1, schedule 1. Permanent transfer, business asset, ITC availed. Permanent transfer, business asset, ITC availed. Is this a permanent transfer? Yes. Was computer business asset? Yes. But was ITC availed on it? The answer is no. All the 3 conditions are not fulfilled. ITC was not availed, and therefore without consideration, this cannot be treated as a deemed supply. Right? Yes. Now how to present the answer? First of all, first paragraph we will give the provision. So we understood that the question is from section 7(1)(c). It is completely okay if you just remember section 7. not 7(1)(c). It is completely okay even if you do not remember section 7. If you straight up write according to provisions of CGST Act, that is also fine. It is advisable, or I would say desirable, for you to remember section number. If you are not remembering, there's absolutely no problem with it. So first of all, I'll give them the provision that section 7(1)(c) read with schedule 1 gives us 4 paragraphs which are the cases which we consider deemed supply even if they are without consideration. Then we explain them para 1, that para 1 says that any supply, any permanent transfer or disposal of business asset permanently on which ITC had been availed is considered as supply even without consideration. So in the first paragraph of the answer, I will just give them reference of 7(1)(c) schedule 1 para 1 and write the entire provision. Then we come to facts of the case in para number 2. Then I will say that in the given case, computer is a business asset which is permanently disposed, but ITC has not been availed on such computers. Therefore, we fail to satisfy the conditions of para 1 of schedule 1, and therefore, ultimately, my para 3, which comes the conclusion paragraph, will say that no, ultimately this is not a supply. And whenever you are writing this answer in examination, you just have to highlight no supply. You just have to highlight 18%. So even if you mess up here somewhere, assume you messed up here in writing the provision or something, but ultimately you have highlighted your final answer. So the examiner knows that even if the starting point of the answer is incorrect, ultimately this person has given right answer. This thing is there in his mind. He would not leave your answer midway. Now see, normally these things happen in BCom, MCom checking, not in CA checking. Your entire answer is read. But we know there are errors in ICI checking and we have to accept that. So even if you mess up somewhere here, you are very much confident about your final answer and you have highlighted 18%. You have highlighted not a supply. So the paper checker will not leave your answer midway because he knows your final answer is correct. You would get some marks for it. So you write 3 paragraphs and ultimately whatever is your conclusion, you are highlighting it that see, because this is para 1, these are the case of facts and conclusion comes up to this is not a supply. Quickly tell me yes or no. Getting confident. The target of 83 plus is not very tough to achieve, right? The way we are going to study, you will easily achieve target of 83 plus if you are writing tests along with me, if you are doing revisions along with me, if you are doing homework along with me. Then one more revision after this power batch is what you require till examination, and 83 plus is easily achievable. Now, question 3 is very easy. You can do on yourself. Just a simple composite mix supply question. Come to question number 5. Angad Private Limited is engaged in the business of distribution of construction material. As an incentive, Angad pays an amount of 75,000 to its employees upon achieving a specified sales target. The incentive is part of salary of the employees and the applicable TDS that we deduct under section 192 for salary is also deducted on this commission that is being paid. Tell me whether this will be taxable under GST or not. So they are saying that Angad is of the view that this should not be leviable to GST. So Angad is saying this should not be leviable to GST. So now you tell us whether the view taken by Angad is correct or not. Angad is saying this 75,000 should not be taxable. What does your view say? Angad is correct, but is this how you will present the answer? No. Again, first paragraph you will write. Let's see. We have studied section 7(2)(a) read with schedule 3. Section 7(2)(a) read with schedule 3, which simply says that employer-employee relationship is outside the purview of GST. So whatever salary, perquisites, facilities, benefits are provided as a part of cost to company, they are all not taxable under GST. So para number 1, we give the provision. Para number 2, facts of the case, that in the given case, this 75,000 is also a part of salary. In fact, TDS is also deducted on the same, and therefore this should not be taxable. And then ultimately we come to the conclusion part 3, which says that yes, the view taken by Angad is correct, and you are going to highlight this yes, the view is correct part, so that the examiner already knows that your final answer is correct. Say yes or no. Done. Chalo. Then okay, here no, this is a November 22 question. We'll do it. You might feel as if alternative view is possible. ICI also took alternative view, but we'll first go through the suggested answer. XYZ Consultancy, registered in Bangalore, supplies technical consultancy services to its clients. It has been providing technical services to BA Limited Mumbai since past 2 years. Consideration is settled by BA Limited assignment wise. So XYZ is the supplier providing services to BA Limited, and BA Limited settles the consideration assignment wise. Now, BA Limited paid 37 lakh. Total 37 lakh is already paid to XYZ Consultancy on 10th January, agreeing not to provide similar consultancy services. Tell me, is this a non-compete contract? They are saying that for next 8 years, BA Limited has paid some amount telling them that we are not going to engage in a similar kind of business by paying a total amount of 37 lakh. XYZ is saying that this 37 lakh is not chargeable to GST. Tell us whether the view taken by XYZ is correct, yes or no. Is the view taken by XYZ correct? Say yes or no. The view taken by XYZ is incorrect, we already know this. But how are we going to present the answer? So first of all, we'll explain them that this is a service. Now they have not given any section reference here. See, they have not given any section reference here, even if this is the past exam answer. Now at sometimes they give section reference, sometimes they don't give section reference. So what to do? If you remember, section number give reference, otherwise it's fine. Now we know that according to schedule 2 section 7(1)(a), we are in a position to give section reference, right? That in section 7(1)(a) schedule 2 we have seen that agreeing to an obligation to refrain from an act is a supply of service. Yes, we have particularly read that. So we are in a position to give section reference. They have not given in the suggested answer. Whereas in the above question, they had given section reference to see such details. 7(1)(c). 7(1)(c) read with schedule 1. This is the detail that they have given section reference. Whereas in this question, they have not given. So it is completely okay. If you remember, you give. If you do not remember, straight away start as per the provisions. Right. So we know that the service of agreeing to refrain from an obligation. See here they have given schedule 2. Schedule 2 they have given. Okay. Schedule 2 they have given. We also know the section number, section 7(1)(a). This will be treated as supply of service and the same shall be liable to GST. Therefore, whatever view is taken by BA Limited is absolutely incorrect. Whatever view is taken by XYZ Limited is incorrect. Okay. So now we need to tell them what is going to be the GST amount. First of all, they have not given us the rate of GST. Do you see rate of GST in the question? The answer is no. Now normally you cannot assume what is the rate of GST, right? But then for all services we know that if we do not have a rate of GST for any service, we normally assume it to be 18%. Also, they are saying that BA Limited is not ready to pay any further amount. They are saying whatever 37 lakh we have paid to you is final and we are not paying any amount over and above it, which means this 37 lakh will have to be treated as inclusive of GST only. So taking the rate of GST to be 18%, what I will simply do is 37 lakh divided by 118%, which comes to 31.3 lakh. This becomes my value of supply and minus 37, which says 5.6 lakh around. This becomes my amount of GST. So the rate of tax applicable on services normally not given, we take at 18%, and this is how we calculate the amount of GST. Now students ask me that why to take inclusive, ma'am? Where is the hint given? See here. BA Limited is not ready to pay any further amount. Also one more hint that we have already paid 37 and we are to assuming that no GST is chargeable. So anyways, we have total taken 37 only. Means this have to be considered as inclusive, right? And therefore you have to make it exclusive and calculate 18% GST out of it. Tell me yes or no. Is this clear to all of us? Is this clear to all of us? Say yes or no. Now this is also not a practical question, I would say. This is more on theory side only. Just a very simple calculation is required. So how would you present this? In the first paragraph, you give them reference of schedule 2, explain it to them that yes, this is supply of service. Second paragraph, along with the facts of case, you present this particular calculation, and then finally third paragraph you will write the conclusion that no, the view is incorrect, this has to be taxable and this is the amount of tax that will be applicable. Yes or no everyone? Clear? Chalo. Then we come to question number 9. I'm just randomly trying to solve some questions so that you have that confidence that we are good on language, we are good on presentation. Remaining questions anyways you have to do in homework. So Krishna Dev is a trader based in India. Ramakrishna, brother of Krishna Dev, is located in China and is also engaged in the business of trading of goods. Okay. So we have Krishna Dev who is in India. We have Ramakrishna who is in China and he is brother of Krishna Dev. Okay. Krishna Dev places an order with Ramakrishna for procurement of certain goods in the local market of China. Before the shipment came to India, Krishna Dev sold these goods to Cristiano, a trader in Brazil. The goods were subsequently shipped from China to Brazil. So what happened? That the goods were being packed in China. Meanwhile, Krishna Dev had a conversation with Cristiano. Cristiano is from Brazil. So what Krishna Dev did? He called Ramakrishna and told him that you directly supply the consignment from China to Brazil. So will this consignment be taxable in India? See, actually the supplier is Krishna Dev, right? The transaction is such that Ramakrishna sold to Krishna Dev and Krishna Dev sold to Cristiano, but the goods have straight away gone from China to Brazil. Will this be taxable under GST? The answer is no. Why? Because one non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory without goods entering into India. So what we will say, as per section 7(2)(a). Now they have only given reference of schedule 3, not of section. So it is okay if you remember section schedule, you can write. Even if you don't remember, it is completely fine. So first of all, we will give them the provisions. Let's see, as per section 7(2)(a) schedule 3, supply of goods from one non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory without goods entering into India is not considered as supply under GST. Then second paragraph, you will explain to them that the goods have straight away gone from China to Brazil and they have never entered into India, and therefore final conclusion says that this shall fall in the negative list of GST and it will not be leviable to GST. The language, if you want to match, okay, let's see. See, sale of goods from a place in non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory without goods entering into India. Ditto, word to word, same language that we read in our notes. Yes, shall. Now this transfer of tenancy rights question. Mr. Happy has a huge residential property located at a prime location in Mumbai, Maharashtra. He has let out first and second floor to Mr. Peace for residential purposes in April. Peace surrendered his tenancy rights to Mr. Serene for a tenancy premium. Transfer of tenancy rights for a tenancy premium is considered as supply of service under GST. We have particularly seen that clarification, where I will tell you. See here, tenancy rights. You can simply give reference of question 11 from question bank, that whenever you refer the tenancy rights points, you can just straight away go to question 11 and solve a particular question. So Mr. Peace has surrendered tenancy rights for a premium of 10 lakh rupees on 1st June. It is going to be considered as supply of service taxable under GST. What Mr. Serene in turn did is, Mr. Serene paid the applicable stamp duty registration charges, irrelevant. Even if you are paying those charges, it is taxable under GST. Then Mr. Serene has also agreed to pay. Ultimately, the property belongs to Mr. Happy. So Mr. Serene is paying a monthly rent of 1 lakh rupees to Mr. Happy, who is also unregistered. Now, considering this is power batch, I believe you know this, that renting of residential property for residential purpose by unregistered person to unregistered person, it is exempt under GST, right? So this renting of property for the monthly rent is going to be exempt, but this 10 lakh of tenancy premium is going to be taxable under GST. Now on the day of examination, when you are revising, I have already highlighted the important points that you need to see and you will get your final answer. The entire reading of answer, understanding how to present the language, the provision is required now when you are doing your first or second revision. When you are on a third revision or one day prior to examination, obviously you are not required to read entire question. What you are required to do is simply read the highlighted part. That work I have already done for you. Let's see, even if stamp duty etc. is paid, it will still be liable to GST because it is tenancy premium. Therefore, this 10 lakh will be liable to GST, but renting of residential dwelling is exempt and therefore no GST on the monthly rent being paid. So you can simply in 1 minute revise the entire question. That is why I tell you to do questions from the question bank. It will help you navigate and solve the questions faster. Done hai? Chalo. Tell me, is it clear to all of us? Then we solve a good past exam question to make sure we understand how to write the practical questions. Okay, come to question 22, Messrs. Diva Fashion. This is a recent question, I guess if I'm not wrong, May 23 examination. This question was asked in May 23 examination. Chalo. With me everyone? Yes ma'am. Now this is a practical question. So how to write a practical question, how to present a practical question, we'll see. Messrs. Diva Fashions, proprietor is Diva, is a registered supplier in Ludhiana, Punjab. Under GST law, he has made some following supplies in the month of February. For such big questions, we first of all always go and read the required part. So at least we know what we are supposed to do. So the required part says that from the above information, you are required to compute the total GST liability of Diva Fashions. Okay, let us read one by one. Supply of designer silk sarees packed in designer boxes to a boutique in Mumbai, Maharashtra as per the contract entered amounting to 25 lakh. Tell me, if you are selling a saree, will you pack it in a box? The answer is yes. Is it a natural course of business thing? Yes, of course, I will not be handing over the saree. Take the saree. Of course, I will put it in a box and then only give it. Designer boutique normally packs your clothes in a designer. Like if you go and purchase a Gucci bag, a Chanel bag, then in that case, of course, the packing is also that grand and that is very much normal. That is a composite supply. So if I say that the rate of GST applicable on dress is 18 and on designer box is 28, considering this as a composite supply, tell me what will be the rate of GST applicable? What will be the rate of GST applicable on this entire 25 lakh? 18 or 28? Of course, 18. Yes. So I'll say that entire 25 lakh will be taxable at 18%. Now I'm not going into details explaining you why CS or IGST. We know that the supplier is from Punjab. The supplier is from Punjab and the supply is made in Maharashtra. So of course IGST will be levied. Now being CA final students, you obviously know how to bifurcate between CS and I. I am just explaining you how to write the answer. Okay. So I'll give them. Now see, again there are two ways of presenting a practical answer. One, what you can do is, see, working note is mandatory. There is no doubt, there is no option about whether to write working note or not. Even if you simply write 25 lakh into 18%, 4.5 lakh, you will not get full answer, full marks. You will have to explain why. So since boxes in a box and they are naturally bundled, it is a composite supply, you have to take principal rate of tax. This is the working note. What you can do is option A. Along with this amount only, make a bracket and write the working note. Or option B. You can give a reference here considering note number 1. And once you finish off your entire table, you can write all the working notes together. And both of these solutions are accepted by ICIC. If I bring you to this question, this is also a practical question. What they've done is, first they have made entire table. And they've given refer note 1, refer note 2. And then they have given notes below the entire table. So both the alternative presentations are given by ICI only, are also accepted by ICI. So there is no question or there should not be a doubt whether to write working note together or to write afterwards. Whatever you are comfortable with, you can do. If you feel like writing working notes, for me what I used to do is I used to write all the working notes together after the table, because I used to feel like writing working notes would hamper my speed of writing the table or would hamper my calculation. If I have calci in my hand, I have pen, I would quickly just calculate everything, write all the figures. Then I would write all the working notes together. For some students, you would feel like, no, later I might forget the working note. Then for you, writing working note together might work better. Now, this is a very personal choice that you are required to make. What I am telling you is writing working note is mandatory. Either write with the point or write after completion of the entire table, which is fine, but do write. That is important. Okay. Then we say supply of 600 kits, 1000 each kit amounting to 6 lakh to Mrs. Arora in Punjab. Now again, we are in Punjab, Arora is also in Punjab, so C plus SGST will be charged. There is one dupatta, one brooch and one lipstick. Without a doubt, this is a mixed supply. So we'll simply see what is the highest rate of tax of dupatta, brooch or lipstick. 12, 18, 5, 18%. So the entire amount will be taxable C plus SGST 9 plus 9%. Right. Then this is a point of sponsorship service which we are going to study in the chapter of charge, so we can leave it. Chalo. Then 200 kits are given as free gift to customer on occasion of 5th anniversary of Diva Fashions. Again, the cost of each kit is 350. Open market value of the kit is also not available. ITC not taken. ITC not taken. Permanent transfer is there. We've given free gift business asset, but ITC not taken. If ITC not taken, it is not a supply. If no supply, we are going to take nil consideration, nil value and nil rate of tax. Not a supply made without consideration, not covered in schedule 1 also. Why? Because customers are not related person or ITC is also not availed. So this 350 rupees they have just given to confuse you. There's absolutely no use of it because this is not a supply only. Then professional services provided free of cost by Diva to independent married sister to set up own boutique. Tell me, independent married sister, is she my related person? Independent married sister, will she be my related person? According to SOFA Corps, FA means family, spouse and children, always related. Parents, grandparents, brother and sister, related only if dependent. Here my sister is independent and married, which means she is not my related person. Now I have supplied something free of cost to not related person, which simply means it will also not be considered as a supply. So not a supply made without consideration, not covered in schedule 1 because not related person, and therefore no GST and no value of supply. Right. Then last point, Messrs. Diva enters into a contract for 3 years with Shikha, a local model, to act as brand ambassador for 1 lakh rupees. Okay, per annum. Shikha terminated the contract on 2nd Feb 2023. So the contract was for 3 years, but Shikha terminated it in 1 year only. As per the contract, Diva received 25% of total contract fees as a termination. Is this the same example that we understood for Vimal and Akshay Kumar? Yes. There we understood the entire reason why this should not be taxable, because this is liquidated damages. This is liquidated damages. We had relied on Shikha that she would model for us for 3 years, and based on that we agreed for remuneration, based on that we did the future projections. But now Shikha leaving us in 1 year would impact our revenue, and therefore this is just a recovery of the breach of damages that has happened, and therefore this is not to be considered as supply. This is not tolerating non-performance. This is simply liquidated damages, right? And then there is this interest point that we understand in the chapter of value of supply, that whenever you receive an interest, it is inclusive, you make it exclusive and it becomes taxable as the original supply. You will understand this once we complete section 15, value of supply. What I wanted you to understand here is how to write a practical question, how to present a practical question. Drawing tables and all not mandatory. Just write so that it is easily legible. If we can read it properly, we can understand the aligning. It is okay drawing of lines and all. If you have time, do. Otherwise, write proper figures and write proper working notes. That is what is required. So for theory questions, you are not required to write like entire big provision, conclusion, fact. No. 2 line working notes would be more than enough just to explain them. From where did you get that figure? Done, chalo. So along with understanding, learning and questions, we have completed entire chapter of GST introduction, supply and composite and mixed supply. Is this clear to all of us? Say yes or no. Enjoying the sessions and gaining confidence. I'll leave you early today. We'll start charge of GST tomorrow, and from tomorrow the session are going to be on app. Any issue you can drop on Telegram. The drive link, you would have received the drive link on your mail. In that drive link, there's a Word file in the name of Telegram doubt solving. You can go to that Word file, and in that Word file, there's a link. Using that link, you can join the doubt solving discussion group on Telegram. I have also uploaded the schedule of test paper. So as I told you that I've broken down entire syllabus into 5 parts. So you will find that which chapters will be tested in which test series. So I've made that, I've also uploaded that schedule in our drive link. You can go through that schedule so that you can plan your studies and tests accordingly. And question bank also uploaded in your drive link. And first 2 chapters also uploaded in your drive link, just in case you have not received the hard copy of the notes. Everything is done. Yes, Yash. Chalo. हाँ, I had drawn lines in my certified copies because मेरे पास time था. I had time. What I said is, if you have time, you can draw lines and everything. If you don't have time, it is completely okay. Whatever you've written should be readable. That is all what is required. In the last session of Power Batch, I will also show you my certified copy of May 22 examination, what mistakes I had did, what good things I had did. Based on that, how to present, what to write, what to do, everything we are going to discuss. Chalo. Is that all? Yes. So see you all tomorrow, same time, not same place. From tomorrow, we'll not be meeting on YouTube. We'll be meeting on the app, the Fast app, from where we'll be viewing the lectures. So if you have not yet enrolled for the batch, you are viewing on YouTube, your friends want to enroll, whatever it is, make sure you get it all done, sorted from today, because from tomorrow, the sessions will be live on app. Shut. Done. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take care.